Welcome to Indian Union News. Our guest today is Satish Jha. He is a board member of Vidya Bharati USA Foundation, which is going to host its second annual Gala on July 12th at Boston Marriott Hotel in Burlington, Massachusetts. Also, recently, he has written a book which is very relevant in general for the education in India, as well as the topics which will be discussed at the second annual Gala in Burlington. We are going to talk to him about the upcoming Gala, his book, and also the contributions made and relevance of Vidya Bharati USA. Satish, welcome to our studio.
Great. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. So are you excited about your second Gala this year?
I've been at it for 10 years, so second year of Gala is wonderful to have.
Okay. What are some of the interesting highlights are for the upcoming Gala this year?
I think we are going to have a larger gathering of people who have come to know about it, who believe in it. Desh Deshpande has been a great supporter.
Everybody knows him.
Everybody knows him. We went to Hubli, and now his organization is supporting Vidya Bharati in India as well. So those relationships are forming. And this is one way of India USA as well. It's going just beyond contributions from the diaspora, is getting into engaging with the ideas which have germinated here, which are taking roots in India, and they are finally kind of embellishing whatever has been going on at the Vidya Bharati as well. So I think a dialogue has begun. The conversation between what we have achieved here and what's being made possible in India, that is what is going to be very interesting about this particular second Gala. This year again, we have Mr. Khetan, who is a mentor to Vidya Bharati in India. He's also joining us, along with him, an operational team head as well. But more than that, what's happening now is we are looking at the experiments of Vidya Bharati. It's growing all the time. Now we have 2 universities in India which have raised the bar in terms of what university should be. As of now, when you look at the performance of students, we recently learned 5 DG of police of various states, they come from Vidya Bharati. Our last defense chief was of Vidya Bharati. So the kind of inspiring stories they have created coming from nowhere in society at the time they were children to achieve the most apex positions and roles that society offered them. That is the kind of gap Vidya Bharati is bridging. So we will bring those stories and share with all of us here in the Boston area. And that is, I think, one of the reasons that how do you connect with the real stories so that we can begin to see what we can do to contribute as the future of the nation as such. Because without experiments like Vidya Bharati reaching out to 100 times more, because it covers about 1%, I don't think we will be able to realize what we are, who we are, what we can be. So that's the importance of Vidya Bharati to me. I've been part of it for a decade, and I hope some of you will join, all of you join. That'd be great.
So now this is a good time to bring your new book, which has just come out, The Full Plate.
Oh, sure, of course.
Because that combines various other non-profit groups which are working in the field of education in India.
Yeah.
So tell us how what is the main message of your book, The Full Plate?
You see, message is that.
And this is the book, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The message is that in the past 78 or 79 years of freedom, we have not been able to educate even 20% of Indian population. We are running at about 7-8% yet. People who can stand up and live the life of the current century or the current decade that we are in. That's because the quality of education in India has been missing. Government schools used to be at one time desirable places to go to. Today, if you go there, reports of the Government of India reports, they say, or rather, their approved reports, they say, 8th grade students, half of them, they don't have the 2nd grade skills. More than 3/4 of students 5th grade students don't have 2nd grade skills. Even just 4 days back report came. The gap in quality of education, it has kind of become wider and larger. And that is a challenge that India is facing.
So my question to you is someone who knows a lot about the education system in India and especially also from the technology angle as well. We are the greatest beneficiary of India's school system. We were born 10, 15 years later after independence of India, from primary school to high school to universities and IITs. We went there, hardly we had to really pay. It didn't cost us anything. And so what went wrong in the Indian education system and when, and how it can be corrected?
You see, in the beginning, there was a focus from the leadership of the country to try to, soon after the constitution was made, to take India to its possibilities. So there was a lot of focus on education in the first 15, 20 years. We somehow came into that phase, and government schools were offering reasonable education, and fee was only about, say, $1 a month, $2 a month.
Sure.
That was the fee. Even in JNU, I think we paid 20 rupees, which was about those days $2.
And most of us had a scholarship. I had a full scholarship. So
and I had a national scholarship as well. So that took care of everything. But not most of us, about 1% had a scholarship, but that's 1% is here now in the US. In that sense, yes. But what happened is, as the population now, Indian population has gone from 360 million to 1.5 billion. And the system did not increase the capacity accordingly. Today we have 1.5 million schools, but about 150,000 have one teacher and 5 grades of school. What will you educate there? So there was access became the reason, but the quality was forgotten. At one time, when we were there, access was limited, but whatever was there was reasonable. Second thing, if you see, mission schools contributed greatly to India. And third, Vidya Bharati emerged from that same background. And fourth, there was a Navodaya Vidyalaya, Kendriya Vidyalaya. They came out as about 1 million students go to Kendriya Vidyalaya, 100,000 a year. They do fine, they get reasonable education. This education doesn't take you to the same frontier so you can innovate, create, etc. But it makes you smart enough to live with the times that you're born in.
So now also in India, I think that the private sector is playing a very important role as well. Both private sector, also some non-profits are playing an important role as well.
Private sector has become important in education, but they're catering to only about 1 to 2%. Their numbers are about 40%, but the quality education is only to about 1 or 2%. The Indian education became more focused on certification. It was not about learning. As you get a certificate or you pass examination, you go through this. So if you see this, there are, say, 5,000 seats, and there are 5 million children trying to get into those 5,000 seats. So there is a whole business around that of coaching, but only 5,000 can get in. But Indian need is, you're looking at a country which talks about making so many engineers. It has to create, say, maybe 1 million engineers a year, maybe 500,000 doctors a year. That's not happening. For a population of 1/5 of the world, you need a huge army of people with the skills. That's not happening. So as of now, only 7 to 8% maximum are the people who get reasonable education. If about 1 or 2% of them become good enough to be overseas, look at this way. America has about close to 4 to 5 million people of Indian origin, including families. Say professionally, say about 2 million professionals are in America at this point in time, and they're doing fine. They've become the most earning community as such. But that's because they came from the top. They're the creme de la creme of India. But what we left behind, they got used to living in their own environment, but nobody cared for the people who lost out, people who were at the bottom. So 90% people don't get any quality education. Vidya Bharati, what it does is, it makes it possible to have a $10 per month fees, which gives people kind of education which can make them or help them become anything the government offers. It doesn't help them go to the next stage, but prepares them to have something which is available today. We need education which will help you go to something.
So how many students, like at a given time, go through the Vidya Bharati program?
Every year, 300,000 students join. 3.5 million people at any point in time. So that's about 1.3% of India's education system. But Vidya Bharati students, 50% of the top 10 positions in state boards, they are achieved by Vidya Bharati students. So 1% attendance, 50% board positions.
And Vidya Bharati is all across India, everywhere.
It's in 684 districts, if you look at the informal part as well, out of the 750 districts. So almost 90% of India is covered by Vidya Bharati schools.
So the goal of your gala is to do some sort of also make an awareness about these schools, as well as do some fundraising as well for the same cause.
I think fundraising, my cause is this, that everyone who can contribute to it, they should adopt their own village. That will be my dream, an ideal, because that way we can very quickly take the nation to the next stage. Second can be upgrading the Vidya Bharati. Vidya Bharati is very good at helping people achieve what is possible today. But we have to achieve something which is possible tomorrow. There's a 6th generation gap I see. Others don't see it the same way as I see it. If you go back to 1947, Korea, China, and India, they began at about same $50 per capita income. India was 52, China was 47, Korea was 55. And 93, China crosses India's per capita GDP at about close to $390 as such. And now China is at 15,000, India still is 2,500. Korea is at 40,000. So if I was looking at $100,000 as a reasonable good student will do, then US is 90,000, Korea at 40, China at 15,000, India is at 2,500. So if you see from that point of view, how do you rate me as India, as a nation, in terms of my achievement? That's what the challenge is. Vidya Bharati is trying to somehow bridge that possibility. How do we get to be a 2.5 to 3% achiever to whatever we can be? We can be 100% achiever. That bridge, Vidya Bharati is one step in that.
So Satish, now let's come back to the book. The full plate consists of 4 different sections in there.
Yeah.
So can you tell our audience about what those 4 sections are and how it is really going to help uplift the education in India?
So 2 things happening here. One was that when I came to Boston, I suddenly found that I used to go to 4 galas, which were Pratham, American India Foundation, Ekal, and Desai Foundation, and Akshapatra. So when I looked at all of them, I got to know more about them, and I wondered what is happening here in terms of how are they different, but they're all contributing something which nation or government or others are not contributing. They're all contributing something interesting. And that was the beginning of the question. Then I said, in the Indian context, who all are contributing? And then I saw these 4 as major players, which is Vidya Bharati, unknown, but the largest. Pratham, very well known, but they do something very interesting. Ekal, amazingly good brand, reached out to everyone because they touch the heart. And American India Foundation, probably the biggest initiative from the diaspora in the US. And I looked at how they contribute. And then I said, well, if I had to feed you a meal, then in that meal, I need everything that you need. You need bread, you need rice, you need lentil, you need vegetables, you need some condiments, you need some spices, whatever, or pickles. So that's your meal. That becomes an interesting meal. But somebody says, listen, but why do you eat with hand? Take a spoon. That's one part. Somebody says, look, I don't have so much. I can only give you a bread. That's fine too. And so similarly, everybody is trying to do it better than it was. But they are doing what they can. I looked at what is a meal? Then meal is a full plate. Full plate makes it possible. But more than that, my question was this. What makes the transformation happen? So for instance, what makes the water boil? My point has been, Indian education system has been boiling the water at 30 degrees for 80 years. And it will never boil. But there are people in India who still think probably it'll take longer, but will boil even at 30 degrees. So that's the kind of understanding you are trying to deal with. So that's one part. Second is the critical mass. Unless everything is there, you don't feel fulfilled about it. Without that, innovation doesn't happen. How do you bring to the level of innovation? And that's what I was trying to look at it.
Now, if anybody reads this book, what are the 2 or 3 things they will walk away with?
Well, I think what it does is it looks at 4 major institutions, how they have gone about looking at...
the one you mentioned just
yes.
now. Okay.
So Vidya Bharati, Pratham, American India Foundation, Ekal, they all do something very interesting and positive and which nobody else is doing. In that sense, they contribute. But they do what they can do. Vidya Bharati has real schools, 14,000. They have a couple of acres campus. They have all the buildings. They have 20, 25, 30, 40,000 square feet of space. They have all the basics. They don't have technology yet. They're trying to do technology. While Pratham did analysis of things better than anyone else, because of them came the recognition, whatever. Ekal went to the areas where there was nothing. There was no hope, no possibilities. They reached out to the unreachable. And American Day Foundation brought in what American understanding was, technologies, etc. They looked at some pieces of it, and they brought that perspective. So when I look at what contributes the need of the child today, and who impacts lifetime of the child, then Vidya Bharati seems like a very good proposition to start with. But all of them are required somewhere. So they all have a great role to play. But we need Vidya Bharati definitely for 100%. Right now it's only 1.5%. But within Vidya Bharati, we need upgrading education as well. For that, I'm trying to reach out to everyone. Let's help them upgrade the quality of delivery of education. How to create cell phone of education. That's the basic idea.
So we have a few minutes left here. But one question I have before I let you go. Is there any support from the Indian government for Vidya Bharati programs or other private educational or non-profit educational programs in India?
Vidya Bharati, as a matter of principle, doesn't accept anything from the government. So the Prime Minister himself is very fond of it, and he always talks about both Vidya Bharati and Ekal. But as a matter of principle, Vidya Bharati does not accept anything from the government. The reason is, if you accept from one government, the next government may not like it. And we understand the political challenges that any messaging has. So they decided not to accept anything from the government.
Can you also tell us a little bit about the history of Vidya Bharati in India, when it started, how old it is, etc.?
It was founded in 1952 at the first school somewhere near Gorakhpur. And that basic idea was, how do you integrate the Indian culture as well in education? At that time, India has just been free, and they are trying to create something in response to the kind of education that was possible at that point in time, because our best schools were missionary or convent school at that point in time, or government schools, which were not as many. So you had to create a whole new. Just think of this way. In 74 years, they've created 14,000 schools, almost 200 schools every year, almost 4 schools every week. That's what they've achieved. And they're catering to 1.5% of it. So I would say that Vidya Bharati has began that journey.
And what about the grades? From what grade to what grade?
They go from K-12. Basically, they don't go to pre-K. They start with K, basically grade 1 or just about that point. And then they have primary, they have some schools are secondary, some go all the way to high school, and some are to 12.
And what about the gender? They're all girls, all boys, or mixed, or all
some schools are only girls' schools. Some schools are up to 8th. Many schools are basically co-eds.
Yeah.
But 9th onwards, they become boys and girls' schools.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Satish, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me here.
And we'll see you on July 12th.
Look forward to it. And thank you, everyone. I welcome you all. Please do join us. And you can go on our website. You can look at vbne.org, vidyabharatiniewengland.org. And you will have this India New England newspaper. They will be talking about it. You can find it from there as well.